Hey there, travelers of animal curiosity. Fasten your seatbelts because today we're starting a saga where the cuteness ends fast and the meal starts early. Welcome to ZooLibrary, the place where every creature has a story too intense to fit into a simple documentary, and we tell it all with that touch of humor that saves our sanity. Before we dive into this world of sharp instincts and highly questionable nutritional decisions, go ahead and do that basic combo that helps the channel keep breathing. Leave a like, subscribe, and activate the little bell. Because here at ZooLibrary, my friend, even the most innocent baby might be planning dinner. Ready? Then let's open the door to this zoo where no one is completely safe, not even inside their own cradle. There are protective mothers, there are overprotective mothers, and then there is Stegodipus, the spider that looks at the concept of maternal sacrifice and says, "Hold my exoskeleton." These tiny, shy-looking creatures live in arid regions, many forming nests in thick webs that resemble small sacs, hence the nickname. At first, they seem like just another discreet spider, the kind that would go unnoticed at a condominium meeting. But just wait for the offspring to arrive, and the story turns into something else entirely. Matrophagy, the act that redefines the verb to care. When the eggs hatch, the mother is still there, firm and strong, watching the microcenipede of legs that has just emerged. But behind the scenes, something is already happening. Her body begins to transform into a kind of internal nutritious broth. The mother spider becomes a reservoir of nutrients that she herself will offer to the mini arachnids, first in the form of regurgitation, then, well, without regurgitation. The offspring, thrilled by the maternal buffet, surround the mother and begin feeding directly on her body. And the most impressive part, she does not fight. She does not try to escape. She stays there, motionless, fulfilling the ritual. It is parental care in hard mode. While other species merely defend their offspring, this one gives up its own body so they will have enough energy to face the world. In the end, all that remains is a group of perfectly nourished young spiders, and the memory of a mother who took love to levels worthy of an epic ballad. Why does this happen? This extreme behavior works as an efficient shortcut. Instead of wasting energy searching for food for dozens of hungry babies, the mother concentrates everything she has into one final package and leaves it as an essential inheritance. It is a total investment with no return clause. If she were a co-worker, she would be the one who delivers the report, the desk, the computer, and still makes the coffee to ensure the team shines. The offspring that go through this ritual have surprisingly high survival rates. In some species, up to 90% of the mother's body is consumed. The rest naturally breaks down afterward. This process happens only once in a lifetime. The mother will never have another brood. It is a definitive gesture. This is not just a dedicated mother. It is the mother who turns her own existence into an inheritance and sends neither a bill nor an emotional charge. A silent, intense gesture impossible to ignore. When people say that some families are intense, this one redefines the word. Bull shark, the baby that already starts life with a criminal resume. If some animals compete for territory, food, or mates, the bull shark prefers to settle everything before even being born. It's the marine version of whoever arrives first in life takes the throne, except here the throne is the uterus. Gregarious Taurus has no time for subtlety, and that already says a lot about the personality of this robust species, with a thick body and eyes that always seem to be measuring whether you're worth the effort of being bitten. Now comes the most aggressive prenatal period on the planet. Inside the uterus, the embryos begin like any other baby shark, small, fleshy, and relatively calm. But then, something happens. Something that turns the environment into one of those sensational reality shows where only one comes out on top. The offspring develop teeth while still in the uterus, and when they realize there are siblings competing for the same space and resources, they start to hunt, literally hunt. The strongest, fastest, and hungriest eliminates all the others. And when I say all, I mean all. Unfertilized eggs, slower embryos, anything with the texture of an intrauterine snack. In the end, each uterus releases only one champion. 2 uteri, 2 survivors. The rest become statistics, or rather, nutrition. Why does this extreme method exist? This strategy makes the winning offspring gigantic at birth. It enters the ocean already the size of something that skipped steps, with fuel to spare, and the self-confidence of an action movie villain. It's as if the sea says, "You're going to need a lot of strength out there." And the bull shark replies, "I already started training at home." The result? A young predator with an absurd advantage over any other species in the first weeks of life. Gestation lasts about 9 to 12 months, and during this period, a silent war takes place that would make science fiction screenwriters proud. The behavior is so peculiar that it has become a classic case study of embryonic cannibalism among vertebrates. Despite their intimidating reputation, adults are relatively calm and often swim with their mouths open, as if they are always evaluating possibilities. The bull shark does not arrive in the world. It earns the right to exist even before opening its eyes. While other species struggle to survive after birth, this one settles everything in Chapter 0. If there is anyone who takes the phrase, "only the strong survive," literally, it is swimming around out there right now. Pepper frog, the tadpole that turns its own family into the first tasting menu. If there's one thing the pepper frog masters, it's the art of creating drama right at the beginning of life. While other species bet on cute, cooperative offspring, this one prefers a start worthy of an action movie, an army of tadpoles sharing the same pool, but not exactly the same fate. Leptodactylus pentadactylus is a robust frog, with warm colors and a build that commands respect. In adulthood, it lives calmly among tropical forests, moving through life with the posture of one who knows they have already won far more intense battles in the past. And it truly has. Where it all begins, in foam that looks fragile, but shelters wet gladiators. The pepper frog lays its eggs in foam nests, a nursery that seems gentle, but works more like a preview of an internal tournament. When the tadpoles hatch, they start out relatively similar, but soon some grow faster, developing stronger bodies, more powerful mouths, and an appetite, let's say, selective. Selective in the sense that they eat their smaller siblings. No suspense, no emotional blackmail, no Twitter to complain. It's direct action. The larger ones begin to chase the smaller ones within the same pool, turning the nest into an arena where every little swim can mean the difference between becoming an adult or becoming lunch. Why does this strategy exist? Growing fast has enormous advantages for a tadpole, especially in environments where water can dry up, predators lurk, and survival is not a guaranteed gift. Consuming weaker siblings provides concentrated energy, a super fuel that turns the larger tadpole into a monster of efficiency. It's as if, while other species get a school snack, these ones receive unlimited access to the backstage of a gastronomic festival. And the results appear quickly. Stronger muscles, more agile movement, and an advantage that carries through to metamorphosis. The larger tadpoles can grow to be 2 or 3 times bigger than siblings from the same clutch. This behavior has already been analyzed in detail because few tadpoles in the world display such a direct appetite. Even with all this juvenile intensity, adults are relatively calm. The chaos is reserved for childhood. In the pepper frog, there is no such thing as an innocent childhood. Here some grow, and others become part of someone else's growth. A silent lesson that echoes through the forest. Life doesn't always wait for you to be ready. Sometimes it demands that you swim faster or disappear from the menu. The eastern tiger salamander has a calm, almost friendly appearance, with markings that look like someone really put effort into the outfit. But don't be fooled. Some stories begin delicately and seconds later take a turn worthy of a series with a questionable age rating. Ambystoma tigrinum is large, strong and adaptable. Adults roam the land as discreet creatures, always with that air of someone who knows more than they say. But childhood is a different soap opera. First days, the water tank that turns into a battlefield. The larvae of these salamanders are born in temporary pools, environments where the water can disappear faster than patience in a long meeting. And when the water level drops or food runs out, something changes in the rhythm of the brood. Some larvae grow faster, developing enormous heads, reinforced jaws, and an appetite that knows no emotional limits. They are informally called cannibal morphs, a special edition of the tiger salamander, equipped to devour smaller siblings as part of the survival plan. These larger larvae do not hesitate. They move with precision, snap up the smaller ones, and go on with life as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Meanwhile, the rest of the brood tries to survive in an aquatic silence that says everything without saying a word. Why does this behavior appear? When the environment tightens, there is no room for delicacy. With little water, fewer insects, less space, and more mouths asking for food, the logic changes. Growing fast means living. Staying small means becoming part of someone else's growth. The cannibal morph gains additional muscle, greater speed, and an energy reserve that makes all the difference when metamorphosis time arrives. It's as if the offspring were saying, if I'm going to become an adult salamander, I'll get there prepared. And prepared it arrives. Not every brood develops cannibals. The behavior appears only when the environment becomes harsh. Cannibal larvae can become much larger than their non-cannibal siblings over the same period. Once they reach adulthood, the salamanders leave this drama behind and live surprisingly peaceful lives, as if the devouring relatives phase had been just an experimental chapter. The eastern tiger salamander does not wait for the world to teach it about competition. It learns right there in the nursery that winning can mean growing, and that losing can mean disappearing into the mouth of someone your own size. It is the most intense childhood an amphibian can live, and surviving is a privilege earned by force. European praying mantis, the romantic encounter that ends with the male disappearing from the cast. The European praying mantis is that insect that seems to be constantly in a meditative pose, as if it were reflecting on the meaning of life. And maybe it is, especially the male, who knows that a romantic encounter can turn into a dramatic episode without warning. With its elongated body, enormous eyes, and a sort of performative artist vibe, Mantis religiosa always looks ready for a mystical catalogue photo. But the visual serenity does not match at all what happens during mating. The mating ritual that could be classified as suspense. When male and female meet, the tension is almost palpable. The female is there, impeccable, motionless, too beautiful to be trustworthy. The male approaches slowly, like someone who knows that every wrong step could be his last. And sometimes it really does. During or shortly after mating, the female may simply grab him and begin to devour him, often starting with the head. It's a moment that makes any comparison with complicated romances seem like successful couples therapy. The most unsettling part, even without a head, the male continues fertilizing, as if his body were on automatic mission completion mode. The encounter becomes a mix of efficient biology and a scene worthy of surrealist cinema. Why does this happen? The answer is simple and not polite at all: nutrition. The male's body is a combo of fresh proteins, and that helps the female invest more energy into the eggs. When food is scarce, she intensifies the habit. because a well-positioned male is basically a nutritious snack with a built-in reproductive advantage. It's almost like a moonlit dinner, except one of them doesn't go home. Sexual cannibalism is not mandatory. In environments with abundant food, the male's chances of survival increase significantly. Some males have developed flight and approach strategies that look like tactical choreography, all to avoid becoming the main course. The female can lay hundreds of eggs in a perfectly protected ootheca, all financed by that extra voluntary meal. In the world of the European praying mantis, love and danger walk side by side. Here romance does not end with a declaration, but with digestion, and the female moves on calmly, strong and ready to generate the next generation, while the male enters history as a literal part of the legacy. Fat-tailed scorpion, the mother who loves, protects, and performs nutritional screening. If there is an animal that understands the weight of motherhood, literally, it is the fat-tailed scorpion. With a compact body, curious pincers, and that thick tail that always seems ready to command respect, it lives its nocturnal life far from the spotlight. But when the offspring arrive, the plot gains layers. Uraplectis carinatus is a devoted mother, the kind that carries all her babies on her back right after birth. A tiny mobile condominium, full of fragile little white legs trying to keep their balance, while the mother goes about her nocturnal life as if it were completely normal to transport an entire daycare on her exoskeleton. But, as always, there is a however. Maternal care exists, but it comes with unwritten contractual clauses. Newborn offspring are extremely vulnerable, almost transparent, and depend entirely on the mother until their first molt. She protects them, shelters them, keeps them warm, and would move as little as possible to avoid dropping anyone. But when food becomes scarce and energy levels start to drop, the logic changes. The female may devour the weaker offspring, not out of cruelty, not out of gratuitous impulse, but because the alternative would be losing them all. It is a silent, harsh triage, where the survival of some requires the digestion of others. And yes, the offspring are right there on her back, completely at the mercy of the decision that defines who stays on the team and who becomes a nutritional supplement. It is motherhood in non-negotiable reality mode. Raising baby scorpions is hard work and extremely energy-intensive. When the female is undernourished, she simply does not have enough fuel to maintain protection for the entire brood. By consuming the weaker ones, she recovers lost energy, increases the chances of survival for the stronger offspring, avoids dying of exhaustion before they complete their first molt, which would be disastrous for everyone. It is a brutal but efficient choice, ensuring that some live well instead of allowing all to die badly. The offspring remain on the mother for days or weeks until they are able to walk on their own. The thick tail is a defining trait of the group, but she does not use the stinger against her own young. The process is carried out with the mandibles. In environments with abundant prey, nutritional filicide practically disappears. Some records show that stronger offspring know how to position themselves better on the mother's back, avoiding risk. The fat-tailed scorpion experiences a form of motherhood where every decision carries weight. And sometimes that weight is measured in grams of protein. In the end, she is not cruel, she is strategic, and her strategy turns a few survivors into resilient future scorpions. In the arid world where she lives, affection can be protection, or the main course. When you look at the adult sandy tiger beetle, it looks like an athletic insect, the kind that could win a gold medal in any speed event. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you to discover what happens when it is still a larva. The larvae of this beetle are dedicated predators, specialists in ambushes, and to complete the package, they have not an ounce of patience for slower sisters. If there were a family motto here, it would be something like, "Dug slower, that's your problem." The larvae live in deep, almost vertical burrows like small handmade mines. Inside them, they position themselves with their giant heads facing upward, equipped with mandibles so exaggerated they look like tools from a science fiction villain. When an unsuspecting insect passes by the entrance, clack! The larva launches like a buried spring, pulls the prey inside and devours it in peace. But this hunting system has an extra detail, and it is not elegant at all. If another larva invades the territory, especially a slower sister, she becomes part of the menu. The larvae compete for tunnel, food, and space, and these tunnels do not come with an organized condominium. If two larvae occupy areas that are too close, the larger one quickly eliminates the smaller one. And eliminate here is not a metaphor. The attack is direct, precise, silent. The dominant larva pulls the rival into the burrow and solves the problem on the spot. The result is simple. Whoever hunts better grows faster. Whoever grows faster dominates more territory. Whoever dominates more territory stays alive. Childhood for the sandy tiger beetle is practically a predatory aptitude test with definitive consequences. Why does this behavior exist? The logic is crystal clear. In an environment where every passing insect can mean the difference between growing or dying, sharing territory with rivals, even from the same family, is a luxury no one can afford. By eliminating slower sisters, the winning larva secures extra food, removes direct competitors, accelerates its growth toward adulthood. It's as if someone decided that the lunch line needed to be optimized and applied that quite literally. Premium curiosities, because these babies deserve a dossier. Some larvae develop mandibles so strong they can hold prey larger than themselves. The tunnels function like reverse trampolines, always ready to capture anything that touches the surface. In adult life, cannibalistic behavior decreases. The drama is really reserved for subterranean youth. The sandy tiger beetle leaves no room for family romance. Underground, whoever hesitates becomes a resource. Whoever advances becomes an adult. And when it finally emerges into the world, it already carries on its shell the mark of one who survived a childhood ruled by ambushes. And with that, we close our little excursion through the realm of emotional meals. Here we saw mothers who turn into nutritious soup, babies who start life like UFC athletes, and larvae that treat their own nest as a tactical war zone. If anyone still thinks the animal world is made only of hugs and rainbows, well, I think this series corrected that expectation. Now, if you enjoyed this journey through the planet's most intense dynamics, do that ritual that keeps ZooLibrary alive and dangerous. Leave a like, because that tells the algorithm you enjoy science with a dramatic twist. Comment on which animal surprised you the most, or which one you'll never look at the same way again, and subscribe to the channel, because there are always more creatures ready to challenge your notion of normal. Oh, and activate the bell. After all, here at ZooLibrary, the next story can arrive out of nowhere, exactly like an opportunistic predator. See you on the next adventure.